Hey, let's see. Hey, Mobius. Ugh. I need some computer help. I do. My the computer's back here with it's as far in the house as I can get from the router. I'll say that much. But um, hey, I'm back. But you know what? It shouldn't be that big of a problem. It shouldn't be. Because I've got my phone back here. It has a perfectly strong signal. I can go out the back door and be on the porch and grilling, and I still get a signal back there. Um, but yeah, for some reason, this thing keeps dropping. And recently, now whenever the screensaver tries to start up, something shuts it down. And I don't know what that is either. So I feel like the theme music from Welcome Back, Kotter should be playing right now. Welcome back. Anyway, was I showing you the cartoons when it went black? Oh, when it went black, was I showing you the cartoons? I can't remember what I was doing when it pooped out. I think I was showing you them. The generous DM and the guy loaded down with weapons and all the bonuses that he's getting, the plus ones, plus twos, plus threes. The generous DM, or why attunement matters. I love the picture. And then thank you. And the vegans get their way. I can't believe it's not Elf. Whatever happened to good solid meat? What's the world coming to? Says the beholder. So it was a YouTube issue. Yeah, that's an old dial-up modem, and you know what though? But that would not be. I get an awful signal with this thing, and I should be getting better. That's the thing. Yeah, I should be getting better. And I also have Bob, Johnny, and I have been making it. This has been sitting for a while. We need to get on to painting this. We have a really cool tunnel entrance that is all his design. I did some of the more dangerous cutting, but he came up with a design and did a lot of the cutting and stuff himself. So it's with that expanding foam that is so cool to use. It really makes a neat surface. Yeah, this really it does well. Hey, Elfbait, how you doing? Thank you from the hilt. I hope it does too. I hope it does too. A blank piece of paper and a pencil was all I needed to start drawing. Yes, yeah. Cave tunnel terrain is amazing. I think it is too. Tonka. Yeah, I don't know what the issue is because it, like I say, the signal should be much better back here. It should be just fine, but for whatever reason, it doesn't want to take. And it just keeps dropping. James Cat could tell you, I'd be in the middle of, and anyone who in Mobius, Tonka could tell you, I'd be in the middle of playing Gamma World, and they, so Dungeon Minister, what are you going to do? Dungeon Minister, and on this end, I've got the headphones on, and it's just gone quiet in the middle of a sentence, and I'm, saying all sorts of things a priest probably shouldn't say, and trying to get the internet back on this end, and it just poops. It just poops out, and I don't know why. Anywho, should is such a wonderful word. Never. Yeah, I should have a good connection back here. I'm at the point where I just want to lay a cable at this point. I'm tired of the Wi-Fi thing. It's just obnoxious. But then if it's the modem, then it doesn't matter how it's getting it. Cast the demons out of the modem. Yeah, I need a higher level cleric for that. No, I need an IT specialist. But I don't know what it is. And the thing is, this is the exact same model of computer that I have at work. And during the pandemic, I brought it home, and so I had it after things, unlocked, and I could take it back. I would still take it back and forth because I have to edit my videos. So I would take my desktop back and forth all the time. Well, that got annoying. And then I eventually, with help from patrons, got a computer to do the editing here. So it's powerful enough to do the editing and everything. And it's the same model. That one never had a problem. I never dropped internet here on the old one, on the work one. That's maybe what I should do is take this one to work and bring that one home. Might just do that. Wi-Fi signal extender or booster. You know what, Sean? I thought of that last night. I thought, because I scheduled the live stream. I've been thinking about doing a live stream. I thought, I'll schedule it for tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do that. So sometime yesterday, the announcement went up. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And then I thought, I should get a signal extender. Of course, by that time, I thought about it. It was, like 11 o'clock at night. Amazon isn't going to deliver that quick. And we had violin all morning today. So we were at the violin school. So I thought about it. And yeah, I need to get one. I need to get one. We've got one at the church, and it does a lovely job of pushing the signal out, over to the church itself, actually. But not here. Not yet. Anyhow. That said, I mean, I came back for I don't know what else I want to announce. Oh, well, like I was saying, wanting to get the schedule for the main videos, get that hammered down a little better and less chaotic and less time consuming, and then also be able to do some terrain stuff and also some shorts. As I like the shorts, you can get quite a bit into 1 minute, which is the longest a short can be. You can actually get quite a bit into that. And I enjoyed the couple that I did, one about world building and the one about terrain. I made the little treasure. I enjoyed doing those. Those were a lot of fun. So I'm probably going to try that again. Some animal skulls. Oh, man, that's cool. That is very cool. Like actual animal skulls, or like ones the dollar store animal skulls? Because like the dollar store has some pretty. I saw some ones actually over at the drugstore across the street, but they have really cool Halloween masks. These skull masks, but like a wolf skull and a bird skull and all these things you put on, and then it hinges off your jaw, so the mouth actually moves. It's pretty cool. Very cool. What would be your choice of pop? And that, yes, Todd, that's the proper name for it. If A&W was not available, what's my choice of pop? I like ginger ale a great deal. I like Diet Coke, although the later in the day it gets, the less of that I can have. Otherwise, I don't sleep very well. But you know what I really like, and I wish I could get here in Ontario, Sprecher root beer. You're from Wisconsin, you know it. Sprecher root beer is the best root beer that has ever been. It is delicious. All pop is Coke down there, Shadow's Pawn. Yes. We were talking Mountain Dew for Dirty Basement Terrain. Mountain Dew doing the classic D&D answer. The classic role-playing game answer right there. A&W. What am I trying? Which way? In terms of trying pop, I'm just having A&W, an old standby. It is the best root beer. Sprecher is the best root beer. Speaking in tongues, you don't know Sprecher root beer? Jolly good. Yes, and jolly good with was it a joke in the bottom of the can, or the answer to the joke was on the outside and the answer was in the bottom of the can? Do you remember that? Like trying to get the sun to go down into the can so you could see it. Who else? Hey, found you. Yeah, my internet pooped out again. How far does Sprecher go? Because if Cal knows about it, I don't think Cal's in Wisconsin. Hey there, Adam. How are you doing? My other stream pooped out because the computer pooped out, and I don't know why. Well, the computer didn't poop out. The internet connection to it pooped out. We've been talking about Wi-Fi extenders here, and I think that's going to have to happen. And absolutely, Adam. And I wanted to let you know, because I know you're one of the patrons, one of the things that was part of the earlier stream is that we're going to be, after the con, when I have more brain power to devote to it, I'm going to be doing a once a month online game, doing an online game session for patrons. That's coming after the con. I don't know what day of the week it'll be, but it was your aura that crashed the screen. Buff your aura, local Gumby, or whatever that means. You're able to get Shrekker down in Texas? That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Yeah. It probably would be, it probably will end up being a Saturday afternoon or something like that. I'm going to have to get the internet more stable before I do that, though. But I think a signal extender may help, may do it. I hope it does it. So. It does not go as far as New Jersey. Well, better to blame Bargle for the problems than Touchberry throwing flaming oil on the computer or on the Wi-Fi on the router. Yeah, but I also was showing off earlier. For anyone who showed up a little late, I also was showing off the CleriCon badges. This is the adult as well, and there's a day pass as well. If you manage, that was the other. Thank you for asking that question, because that was the other thing I wanted to announce about CleriCon. Let's see what we're looking at. So for the con, at a month out, once I've been collecting DMs here and GMs, and people have been adding to the list, and we're kind of solidifying what games are going to be and when. Once that schedule is set and I know who's running what and when, then I'm going to send out to the people who had already registered an email with all of the options and saying which games do you want to play in, and then I'm going to include, from that point on, I'll include on the sign up form an option. These are my preferences, the games I'd like to play. And of course, if a table fills up, then that one's full, and so you go to your second choice, third choice, etc. So I'll give people choices. Cal, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be kind of, there's going to be kind of, in a sense, there's going to be two conventions happening, because I've noticed recently the signups, the registrations have been coming from largely people who don't subscribe, but who've heard about an RPG con happening in the area. And there's not a lot of them here, right? And so people, it's been shared on the Toronto RPG Association or RPG Gamers Facebook page. It's been shared in a number of groups around here. So I think it's going to actually have two groups are coming. Some people who are, Honeywood diehards who know the story inside, and others who just like, hey, it's a con. And that's the beauty of it. It's like, because it's all good, it's all cool. Sprecker's grape. I did not even know Sprecher made grape. That's how much I'm devoted to the root beer. Bob Johnny is trying to spell something out in the air. You can just say it. You can just say it. What do you want to? Are you asking a question? No, you're telling me something. He's doing charades. You're going. You R P D D. Okay. DR 2. You're the second Doctor. DR DM. I don't know what DR is. Anyway, so you should reach out to Greg Gillespie and invite him to run something. He's a fellow Canadian. I don't know Greg Gillespie, but unless I know him under his channel name, sometimes people's channel names and their actual name. Oh, Dungeon Minister is not actually my name, but Father Aaron is. One thing about that is, like the United States, it's a big country, and so people can actually be Canadian and be further away than a lot of Americans are. Another thing I wanted to announce, at the moment, at least at the moment, the Canadian government is not demanding vaccine proof to cross the border. I know some people that said, "Yeah, I can't come because in order to get into Canada, you have to prove vaccination." They're not doing that now. So, Craig's Chaos is out. Call me an old stick in the mud. I'm slightly keen to ensure a game if making a 7,000-mile round trip. I should think so. Adam. I would, I think we can pretty much guarantee you'll get a spot, because like as of now, I think if everyone who signed up now signs up for one table, then that's too much. But there's so many spots. There's so many spots. We'll get you a spot. Don't worry about it. Only a 31-hour drive. Pish. Oh well. What's that? D2 edition. Oh, are you going to run that? Okay, so Bob Johnny is just confirming for me right now, live on the air, confirming that he has a D2 game that he wants to run, which is essentially it's a coin toss kind of thing. It's a binary for all the attacks and all that kind of stuff. So that will also be part of the con. So yeah, all right. So let's see a lot of things that I forgot and that just came up that I'm glad that I came back for the second round of this, because I have a brain like mashed potatoes, and I was actually going to get myself all organized and write everything down, but the morning and then our return home, finding the sad news when we returned home, sort of blew that out of my head. But D2, yeah, a D2. Please do me a favor and let the heroes of Honeywood know how much we love to hear of their daring adventures, and that we are proud of and for them. So there you go, heroes of Honeywood. People love hearing the adventures. Classy Wolf, hello. Yes, Europe is such a long way away. Thank you very much for your good wishes. There is going to be some stuff available on online. But we're still figuring out. I think at my tables, at least, I could have a computer sitting there and someone could be zooming in. I don't want to speak for other DMs to say, sure, they'll be fine with it, because they may be like, that's too much max headroom for me. But I may be able to max headroom, some people in. A 38-hour drive. Yeah, it is. That's a long way to go. I don't blame you. And a passport and everything else. Greg is from Toronto. Okay, well, that's the GTA. Where is CleriCon being held? It is being held in Glen Williams, Ontario, just west of Toronto. You like to imagine the entire family just off screen waiting for me to get streaming, so I'll take one out the trash or something. Actually, my wife is at work, but the three boys are just off screen. they're watching me, and they're reading the chat and looking at the screen and watching me. Hello, Ian. I'm doing quite well. Ian. Glenn Williams, have you got a big building? You know what? I've got a building big enough for the size of con we're going to have. It's the parish hall of our church, and it's you can get 100 some people in it, so it's not going to be a problem. I don't expect there to be 115 by the fire plan. Yeah, 115 by the fire plan. Fleetwood says I don't expect to have 116 people showing up. All behave. Yes, well, behave. They're glancing at the chat. So So don't tell them about all of the secrets that I shared earlier. Woodstock, yeah. Well, no, you know what? I have two fears about this con. There are two things I'm afraid of. Hardly anyone shows up. If no one showed up, then we just, go home. Fine. It wouldn't be great. I'd be disappointed. But if like a few people showed up and it was just enough that you still had to do it, but not enough to actually be fun. But the other fear I have is that the entire Toronto gaming community will hear that there's a convention and they'll just show up without registering ahead of time. And it'll be a chaos, which would be fun. But hello, Sebastian from the UK. You've got some friends in here. You've got some fellow countrymen. Ian is here. Adam is here, also from the UK. So I have to say, we've got a lot of great folks over across the pond. Mountain Dew fueled riot. Yeah. Well, that's one thing for Touchberry's Tuck Shop, because we've got Bob Johnny's onion eating contest and Fleetwood's Cabinet of Curiosities. That's a big thing. Another thing I need to announce: we're going to have a sort of consignment rummage sale area. So if you've got an old copy of, the old wood grain D&D box, right? And you want to sell it, or you've got 3 copies of Deities and Demigods, and you want to unload one of them, whatever. You've got some old minis, you've got some old terrain, any of that stuff. You can bring it and put it out for sale at the consignment table, and the con gets a portion to help support running the con, but the rest goes home with you, or the rest comes to you and then you buy something else off of the consignment table from someone else. Legal max occupancy 115 maximum. What's the weather like going to be in November? You need a woolly jumper? Early November can be all over the map. Early November, really all of fall in Canada can be all over the map. I'd pack something warm-ish. It could be cool.
It could be snowy.
It could snow, although it would be like, this much snow. It would be, BC snow. It would be Texas snow. And it wouldn't last long. It wouldn't cause any trouble driving. Unless we get some totally wacky thing. I think last year it snowed on All Saints Day, November 1st. But again, it was like this and it was gone by noon, right? You want to come dressed for Hoth. Well, now that's true. Coming from England, you will probably find it much colder than an English November. I've been to England in November and it was just rainy, but a light jacket was fine. But it'll be the frost giant. Not enough snow to make a frost giant happy. No. It will be cool, but not frigid. The Faux Fire Archery Contest, that has been brought up around our dinner table a number of times. Maybe that would be something fun to do outside.
With luck, it would need to be a how fast can you miss?
How badly can you miss? Yes. Yeah. You have people trying to shoot. You have a contest where you try to hit, but you miss the first 4 shots, and then on the 5th, bullseye, because that tends to be how full fire shots go. Is the snow up there wet or dry? Meaning, can you make a snowball, or is it just powder? In November, it would be powder. In November, but later on, it gets wet. It'll be lukewarm. Oh, Sean. Oh, save versus bad joke. That's awful. Not cold over there, but it never, ever stops raining. I tell you, Sebastian, the first time I visited the UK, I was in Salisbury. I was making a tour of some of the great southern cathedrals. So Salisbury, Winchester, Canterbury, obviously. And I was in Salisbury, and it had been raining since I showed up. I showed up into Heathrow in London, and took a train down to Salisbury. And I think the night I showed up, it wasn't raining that night, But the next day it was raining, and it had been raining for days previous. And I went to the gift shop at the cathedral, and they said, "Oh, it's been raining for like this for days now. Yeah, it's been raining. That's November in England though. It's always raining." And I said, "Well, I've got to go buy an umbrella because I'm on foot. I'm walking everywhere." So I went to a shop and I bought an umbrella, and I swear to you, I bought the umbrella. I walked out. I raised it, and it stopped raining, like shunk, and it stopped. I put it down and it did not rain again for the rest of the 7 days I was there. Never rained again. So I think the British are going to pay me to show up to their outdoor events with an umbrella so that it doesn't rain. Nerds and real arrows? Oh, that's scary. Oh no, it would have to be like suction cups or something. Can you miss the wide side of a barn? Yeah, Classy Wolf, that's about it. Did you tell tales while at Canterbury? On the way to Canterbury, I did, but not the wife of Bath's tale. Heavens. No, I did not get to St. Albans Cathedral, which is, at that point, I hadn't even heard of the church that I'm currently the rector of. Neither of the times I went. The second time I went with my now wife, then fiance. And we went to similar areas. We also added into that. We added Bath and we added Oxford, and we didn't do I went to Chichester the first time. We didn't go to Chichester. I really love Chichester. It's a nice city. The cathedral is small but very beautiful, and St. Richard is fabulous, fabulous saint. No, never got up to St. Albans. A snowblower that would work like that umbrella. That's a fabulous thing. A sunbrella, yeah. Rector. Aha. Is Bath as clean as it sounds? It is a delightful place, really. And Bath Abbey is gorgeous. The facade of Bath Abbey is covered with ladders, carved ladders. Don't drag that around. I'm sure that's showing up on the audio there. Carved stone, in stone ladders with angels ascending and descending. The Jacob's Ladder story. And it's brilliant. It's really lovely. And the rest of the story is the rest of the town is quite lovely. Jane Austen and whatnot, Adam is from Chichester. I think I did know that, actually. Poor Faux-Fire's DM won't give her a magic bow. She does have a magic bow. It is +2 against dragons. And although it doesn't have a bonus against any other creatures, it's not a +1 against other creatures, it's magic, and so she can hit creatures which require a magic weapon to be hit. So she does have a magic weapon. She doesn't have leather +1. No, she doesn't. But she largely stays in the background and fires from there because the bow is her primary weapon. A story about missing this from a D&D game with the Tinker class, a dwarven Tinker in the party. Renowned for missing, hoping to hit something, fired a grenade at a mountainside. Behind what he tried to hit, he missed. Hello, Low 505. New point of interest in the back of your D&D game. She needs bracers of AC. If you come over to visit St. Albans, give me a shout. I'm just down the road. Well, if we ever come back to the UK, we're definitely going to go to St. Albans now, because I've been the rector of St. Albans Anglican Church in Glen Williams now for 14, going on 15 years. So I need an intelligent sword in their game. It's just one more thing to outsmart the DM, I think. I need an intelligent DM in the game. I saw something about an intelligent sword today, that if the sword has an intelligence higher than yours, it also has an agenda, in opposition to yours. Something along that nature. That would be fun. I like the idea of intelligent weapons. There may be one in the Dragon Horde, if only they could win the Dragon's Horde. Bum, bum, bum.
Please don't.
What?
You already know. But we have to kill the dragon.
You don't have to kill the dragon.
No, but Skane's gonna come and start showing trouble.
Well-
trouble. So I'm not even going to.
Well, you could kill the frost giant instead of the dragon. Yeah.
Well, only if Gollum looks says she'll help.
With more eggs, they shall help. So they're trying to play a frost giant against a white dragon. And now Touchberry is suggesting that perhaps they could play the dragon against the frost giant instead.
I'm just saying, that's the side I don't want to be.
If you're picking your opponent, pick the stronger one. Anyway. DCC and MCC. I was laugh when we roll dead characters. I have no idea what that even means, but that's fabulous. You can roll up a dead character. They can nicely ask it to leave and take its havoc elsewhere.
If you play magic, you throw the -3 Constitution.
A magic user with a -3 Constitution, yeah, like it. Well, that's a might as well be dead character. Intelligent weapons are a great way to mess with players and make them hate you. My cleric has never forgiven me for the intelligent warhammer she got. Now, in my friendly local game shop game, the one down to the Hooded Goblin, the characters found a magic warhammer, and there's 2 clerics. There was 1 cleric in the group.
Oh my pacifist.
And then a second cleric joined, and so now the first cleric, they made the warhammer that it has a will of its own, and without a wisdom of 17 or higher, every time you use it, you have to roll. A wisdom check, or it will fly from your hand. It won't. It'll like Mjolnir, it'll leave. It'll fly away and head back to where it was found. But when they found it, the other cleric grabbed it, and he has a 16 wisdom. So every time he goes to use it, the thing tries to get away from him. But he has made his roll every single time. So he's always making it. He's always managing to wrestle the thing back into control. Now, I don't have it able to speak. It doesn't have any of those kind of powers, but it does have a will of its own. And it wants to be used by someone with deep, deep wisdom. That's kind of fun.
What about a pacifist?
3 main ways to do talking swords. Make it incredibly dumb, laughably evil, or helpful but very quirky. Loves, hates combat. A pacifist sword, Fleetwood is saying. You know, well, that is also what I love. Playing with the family is cool. It's nice, you know. I mean, one thing I'll say, the experience I'm having with the game shop game, it's so much easier to schedule. You know, when everyone lives in the same house. When I was a kid, we all went to school. We were all involved in the same stuff at school. So there was never a scheduling conflict. Oh no, I've got, chess club that night. I can't play D&D. It was never that. And other than family trips, which happened occasionally, we could always find time to game together. And we were kids. We didn't have jobs. We got nothing else going on. Sure. And then with my family, and now at the game shop, some weeks it's just the game can't happen. Like there's no game tonight because my wife's working. She's got the car. We have a car, right? So can't get there. And buy another car just to run a game at the game shop. Don't think so. Don't have that many patrons. Smarter. He had a warhammer smarter than her, had an agenda, and was opposed to her god. Convinced her it was a weapon of her god, and led to her being excommunicated. A sort of smartassery with a high charisma and a bonus to hit after every insult.
So St. Becky's dream.
So I'll say, the sword of St. Beckme. Except he'd be a cleric, but yeah, the mace of St. Beckme. There you go, the warhammer of St. Beckme. That would be fun. A sword that hates the sight of blood and screams every time you cut someone. It screams, and then it's a -1 for the next hit. It's a +1 until it hits, and then it's a -1 for like a day, and you have to calm it down. I got to just settle down. It's okay.
Goblin heaven.
Yes, it's just the goblins are fine. That would be fun. I think a sword with as much attitude as St. Beckme would be good. Except I have to tell you, the St. Beckme snark, I get the video and I edit it first for content and time and length, because I'll do that a lot, and it'll be, and I'll be talking along, and then someone will call and the phone rings and you can hear it in the distance and it's just distracting, or someone will come into the house, into the offices, and even though I'm on my lunch hour, you don't really get a lunch hour, and so you hear the footsteps above, which is disruptive, and then I've got to go find out what they want, and so I record it all, or I'll forget something, so I record it and then I go back and redo it. So I got this long, like hour-long video that I edit down to 20-some minutes. But then I go back and I add the effects and I add the snark from the statues, etc. And a lot of those snarky comments I don't think of until about the fourth pass through the thing. I'm not that quick on my feet. A shield that acts like a mother hen. Well, that's appropriate for a shield, but it takes you out of combat. It pulls you away. There was a series of Fred Saberhagen, Hugemaki. Anyway, the books of swords, which I started reading to the boys and discovered how incredibly, horrifically, graphically violent they are, and stopped reading them. But no, they're awful. And there was a sword in there which did just the opposite of a mother hen. It wanted to win, and it was unstoppable as a weapon, but it didn't care about who was holding it. I think it was a sword of protection. So it would protect innocent people, but whoever wielded the weapon could care less. It was there to protect everyone else. And so if you held this thing and you hold this sword and your village is attacked, it will pull you into combat and it will protect the village, but you're dead. You're just dead. It was very cool. St. Beckby sword with cutting wit. A sword needs a timeout. And of course, for Touchberry, we need a flaming sword. Yes. Well, we got a flaming axe. We have Bob Johnny's flaming axe. Rasingus!
Was heat orientated.
Terry Ratchet handled intelligent swords well. Pratchett. I've never, I don't think I've ever read any Terry Pratchett. I don't think. I did. There was maybe I did. Did he write the Shannara, the Elf Stones of Shannara, or something like that? I don't think those were hilarious though. I don't think so. When I was a kid, like before D&D, pre-D&D, or no, I had gotten the red box, and the Bee and Beckme, and I had played it. I played the solo adventure, and I had joined a neighborhood game for a little while, but they were all much older, and it was always kind of awkward. But around that same time, I read the Black Cauldron books, the High King books, and I read a bit later than that. It was the Elf Stones of Shannara or something, and that may have been in high school. So let's see, Discworld. Okay, Discworld. I knew that. Just saw the vowels on the board behind you. Yes, we homeschool the boys, so this is schoolwork. This is all various schoolwork. There's some French here. There's an area of a circle, the formula to find the area of a circle here. There were more things on here, but they had their names on them, so I put them up. So because for the world's sake, they are Fleetwood, Touchberry, and Bob Johnny, and will be at the convention.
A very blunt warhammer.
Boys, this is a question from Adam over in the UK. Boys, are you looking forward to the convention?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They are. Hello, Father Aaron. Hello, Father Aaron. How are you doing? Hello, Nordic Maelstrom. I don't have so much brain. I'm doing well. Nordic. This is the second live stream today because the first one, my modem booted me. Cup of Solo, the reason it didn't pop up for you, Cup of Solo, is because my first live stream got booted. The modem here is a bit of a mess. Either I'm at the edge of the signal that this modem can grab, or there's something wrong with the driver or something. I have no idea. A blunt warhammer, the warhammer that has no problem speaking its mind. A blunt warhammer. Okay, roll your attack. Oh, I rolled a 3. Well, obviously you miss. You swing wide. The goblin easily sidesteps, and the warhammer says, "You dope, you missed him." Very blunt warhammer. Good evening, Patrick. It's for me. I guess it's late afternoon here. Good evening for you. It is evening for you, is it not? I think it is. Would rather have a sarcastic warhammer. A sarcastic, a nice hit. Oh wait, you missed. The Shannara books are written by Terry Brooks. I knew there was a Terry in there. Please treat yourself to read some Terry Pratchett. Try starting with Guards. All right, I will seek it out. I have just gotten done actually with. In fact, I very purposely finished reading John le Carré books. The summer has been all John le Carré. We went to a book sale in the spring, and I was looking for the second in the Smiley trilogy, An Honorable Schoolboy. I had Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and I went online on Amazon, and I could find Smiley's People, which I bought, but I wanted the other one, and it wasn't on Amazon. I couldn't find it anywhere other than used for $50 or something. And they don't have his stuff they have a couple of his books here at the library. So we went to this used book sale, and I was hoping to find it there. Well, I found gobs of John le Carré, but no Honorable Schoolboy. So I've been working my way through those, and I started The Constant Gardener a couple days ago, and I don't have a lot of time to read, and so I'd read a little bit of it, and I was like, oh, it's really not grabbing me. I mean, I don't know how it begins with a murder. How does it not grab you? But it really didn't. And I was reading it today, and when the boys were doing their violin lessons, we sit at the violin school for 5 hours?
Yes.
From 8:30 until 1:45. From 8:30 to 1:45, we're at the violin school. And they each have 2 one-hour lessons each. So there's a lot of time where we're just sitting there. Anyway, so I was reading it, and I just I can't anymore. It was The Constant Gardener, and I know they made a movie of it. It's supposed to be good and everything, but I'm like, I can't. No more le Carré for a while. No more le Carré, so I got to find something else. Does Touchberry have any plans to create a ranch to raise exotic riding mounts? Because Touchberry jumps on everything. He's thinking about it, he says. Creating the sword that would rather be a plowshare. There you go.
A trident that always wants to get to the nearest water source.
Hello, TVAR hobby. You're welcome for all the Beckby videos. Your boys 11 and 8 really enjoy watching them. That's fabulous. That's fabulous. I am so glad they want to play D&D with you. That's great. That's great. That always, when I hear about, first of all, when I hear about kids or families, usually it's dad and the kids. Sometimes it's mom and the kids watching together. I love that. And when I hear about families like videos, and I'm starting to game up with my family. I love that. That is fabulous stuff. That's fabulous stuff. It's a great short film based off Troll Bridge. I saw that. I posted it to Facebook and Twitter recently. That is hilarious. With the old barbarian who could think he could barely stand up in a stiff breeze, and he's this legendary. That's fabulous. Rift War, Mid-Chemia series by Raymond Feist. I don't know Raymond Feist, but Feist the singer, I like her music. The Long Sun series by Gene Wolfe. There's so much fantasy out there. There's so much. Are you including any brass instruments in the boys' string lessons? No, although my wife plays French horn. Although it's been a long time since she's played. I mean, it's actually up in the attic right now, right above the kitchen here. It's been up in the attic for months, years. But she used to play quite a bit. And actually, when we were first dating, I still lived in Milwaukee and she lived in Toronto. She'd fly down, she'd bring her horn with her. And I was very involved at the cathedral there. And so I had keys to the place. And I asked the priest, and he was like, yeah, that's fine. So we'd go in at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and she'd practice in the cathedral. It was fabulous. About to start Vagabond, which is the second book of the Grail trilogy by Bernard Cornwell, set in the early 100 Years' War. No Saxon violence. First of all, that's a woodwind technical term here, actually the saxophone is classified as a woodwind. No, that's just so far to go for a joke, Bill. so far to go for a joke. The acoustics were fabulous, Gumby. I tell you, she'd be in playing, and I was on the Ultra Guild, and so I would go and be setting up for the Sunday and Saturday night. She'd be in there playing, and just to hear that echoing through the building, just beautiful, just beautiful. I don't know why there's not more solo horn music, but yeah, she used to play quite a bit. She was in the pit orchestra for a number of musicals in Toronto, like big Mervish. The Mervishes are the big theater producer in Toronto. She'd be in the pit orchestra for some big stuff. What villain do the kids most want to Bargle? That's the answer. So I'll ask you all, because Fleetwood answered, what villain would you most like to get?
Bargle.
Bargle? How about you, Touchberry? Bargle? Bargle all round. Bargle all round. Yeah, they all want to get Bargle. I think Morag, the great white dragon, is
She's already down for the count.
she's already Touchberry's already got her down for the count. We haven't played that yet, but that is probably a in a sense, well, both more difficult and easier villain, because she's less like. Well, I don't know if she's less likely to just run away. She might run away too. Who knows? Depends on what the dice say. Oh, God bless them. Yeah, they picked up right away. It was very funny when we were talking about Bargle, and I mentioned the name, and Bargle, and then my wife was like, why do we hate Bargle? What's wrong with Bargle? She didn't do the solo adventure. You predict Touchberry will attempt to jump on the dragon. He'll try to ride the dragon. Yeah,
he tried to steal its breath weapon last time we fought a dragon.
Yes, it was a big thing before they'd ever fought a dragon. They thought, well, when we fight a dragon, I want to steal its breath weapon. I think he knew he was being silly, even though that was, gosh, you were like 9 then. I think you were 9, maybe 10 when you made that joke. Yes, Touchberry does tend to jump, and so does Bob Johnny, for that matter, to jump on top of things and ride them around. Fleetwood goes for the more traditional, let's just hack them to pieces, route there.
Oh, electrocuting them is nice too.
Electrocuting them is good. They don't have to steal the breath weapon. The dragon will be all too willing to give it to them. Good point. Good point, Maelstrom. The dragon will be very happy to present you with a breath weapon. Here you are in an undeniable package. No, we're very much looking forward to the encountering Morag, because we have, of course, dealt with one of her children.
We also have his head mounted on a wall.
Yes, Balamorg, who was played by John from Tale of the Manticore in the series. Balamorg's head is now on their wall. If they're good, they can expect multiple breath weapons. If you're good, we have been reading as the bedtime story lately the Mysterious Benedict Society books, which are quite fun. I mean, it's a kid's book, but it's a lot of fun. And there's these characters in there, the 10 men, and they're called 10 men because they have 10 different ways to hurt you.
Except it's all disguised as business.
Yeah, it's all of it is disguised as office equipment. So there's pencils that are razor sharp that they throw, and there's a clipboard that has razor blades on it or something. But their character is that sort of, if they're good, they can expect multiple breath weapons. Their character is very much the oh, Ducky, you don't want to be naughty, do you? Sort of.
The fight that had all those business fight.
Yes. An epic fight full of business implements. Yeah, office supplies. It's kind of silly. Anyway, oh, golly, thank you very much, Cyclops Productions. Can't stay for long, but I have some cash for the Parish Collection Plate and Terrain Making Fund. Always impressed by your details. Thank you. I'm on the wrong continent for CleriCon, but I wish you the best success. God bless. Thank you so much, Cyclops. It's very kind of you. Yes, you know what? I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope, as I was saying earlier, I hope to be doing more terrain in the future too. I hope to be doing some more terrain stuff. I have a project that's halfway done. rest of the video for. I can finish it and put that up. That's stealing an idea from someone else, but that's what I always do anyway. But thank you very much. That's very kind. Was one thing that so what is one thing, boys, that you like the most about Beckme?
The fact that you got the characters actually maybe possibly have a chance of dying.
That the characters have a chance of dying?
That Minotaurs are a playable race.
That Minotaurs are not a playable race. Okay.
That you can't fly.
That you can't fly. Well,
Like
you
first
did.
thing. Like first thing.
First thing. Yeah. Okay.
Races, you just have wings.
Oh yeah. There's no winged races, and you can't fly easily. Although you have flown, and Touchberry did not enjoy it, having a fear of heights as he does. For one of the paths, the characters create a magical item which needed fanciful component. The examples being the roar of a lion or the footfall of a cat, managing to really bring the weirdness to magic item creation. I love that. When me and my friends started playing D&D many years ago, we read Dragonlance and the Legend of Drizzt. Have you read them? Drizzt. Have you read the?
Yes, I have.
So Fleetwood has read Legend of Drizzt, and Dragonlance was bedtime story for a little while ago, and I know Fleetwood has picked it up and read it.
I bought it.
Yeah, did you read it before we read it for bedtime?
Bits and pieces.
Okay. This band. Yeah. Yeah, we had that as a bedtime story. The first trilogy, the Dragons of Autumn and the Dragons of Winter and the Dragons of Spring, and that one.
Then the bottom time the Dragons of Winter Night and Dragons of Spring Dawn.
Thank you. Bob Johnny remembers the titles quite well. Dungeon Craft would agree with the mortality chance keeping the game interesting. Yes, it does. And one of the things that I let the players know is that the plot armor is off. So when they were first starting, and especially because when we were starting, as I've said before, Bob Johnny was 6, and you don't kill your 6-year-old kid's character. And I think there is something. The boys may disagree about this, but I think there is something different about playing the game with your brothers than if it was down at the library or something, or at the game shop and there were just other kids. Because I think when you're playing the game with your brothers, if your character dies, that's harder because you're with your brothers and there's always a sort of competitiveness with brothers, right? So I wasn't going to off a 6 or, for that matter, 8 or...
Just kill all your players.
Yeah, you do it all at once. If I get you all at once, that's fine. But yeah. So, but now they're the other thing, of course, is with Beckme and with any of the old school things, first level characters are really, really, really fragile. So part of it also is making sure you're not expecting them to, you're not putting them in inescapable situations with monsters they can't defeat. If they're going to go up against a monster that's too strong for them, they have a way out, right? There's an escape. Because otherwise, you might as well just say, well, we're going to roll new characters tonight and just rip the sheets up, right? So yeah, the plot armor is off for them. It actually has been for a while, but I only told them that recently.
But I think characters have like a +5 to attack on average when they just begin at first level.
Yeah.
TPK, no! If I can do it all at once, well, that's the great thing about a white dragon's breath weapon is that it is a cone. So that's why they know scatter. Yeah, I mean it is. Although I'll say actually, Nordic Maelstrom, I think the first night that I took Fleetwood down to the Hooded Goblin to play in a 5e game. When we got there, had they started playing already?
No.
But shortly after we arrived, one of the characters died. And so this kid went over to the table to roll up a new character. So it can happen. Although very quickly in that campaign, it got to the point where they were defeating 6 blue dragons in one
It was
round.
only 4 blue dragons.
4 blue dragons in one round or 2?
2 rounds.
2 rounds of combat, 4 blue dragons. I mean, come on.
We killed
This
2.
is-
We killed 2
So
with
that-
a fireball, and then teleported the last time to a lethal trap the DM had designed, and we had evaded.
So yeah, it could be.
Well, actually, so if it's 2 rounds, that means they defeat it in 12 seconds.
Retreat should always be an option. Yes, it is actually. You know what, Patrick? It's absolutely true. And something that I find newer players don't cotton on to is that you can run away. It's okay. You can run away. If you can't fight the thing, run away. And come back later with help.
As long as it doesn't laugh. If it laughs, keep fighting it.
In my setting, you'd be hard pressed to see 1 dragon, let alone 5. Yes, I prefer to keep dragons pretty rare. Pretty rare. What system was that? You mean the 4 blue dragons? That was 5e. That was 5e. And I mean, there have been enormous giants that they brought down with 2 spells or something. I mean,
Well, to be fair, we were inside its head.
yeah, they crawled inside the giant's head and blew it up from inside. I mean, it was it gets really wild.
We destroyed its battle centers and pushed it through a prismatic wall.
What has been your favorite creature, boys, that you have encountered so far in the Honeywood campaign, aside from the dragon?
Obviously, but I gotta say, I really liked Skane.
Skane, the frost giant. Skane. How much was your
I am partial to the Ents.
the Ents? Oh yes.
Of course, the Ents.
Yeah, the Ents who are right here. Oh, we go on camera. Yeah. Ents, how about you, Bob Johnny?
Captain Bellbones.
Captain Barebones. Oh, the skeleton
Yeah.
with the pirate hat. Yeah, he's pretty cool. How many people are booked? I don't actually know right now. It's not a lot. I'm hoping we pick up in this last month. I'm seeing more frequent registrations. People call 5e superheroes with a D&D skin. Yeah, there's a lot of superheroism in that, and it's sort of like, yeah, it gets too easy too quick. There's a YouTuber. He's all 5e, I think. Level to what? XP to level 3.
Yeah.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Anyway, he did a video about the frustrations of DMing a 5e campaign for players of 10th level or higher. And everything he did, the players were like, well, I just use this. Well, I just do that. I just pull out my this. I just cast that. I just use this power. And the DM's getting increasingly frustrated because he has this extremely powerful monster, but it's just nerfed, right? Because they can bring down meteorites and collapse mountains and shoot fire out of their eyeballs. And I cast my 5,000 D6 cantrip and fry it, all this stuff. And at the end, I mean, finally the DM has to break the rules of the game in order to actually make it a challenging encounter. So, let's see. I had a 5e monk stunning strike a dragon 2 rounds in a row. It didn't survive to the 3rd round. Good heavens. What is one monster the boys really wish to encounter in Beckme? That is assuming they have seen the monster section. They haven't seen the monster section, but they have seen the monster sections of 5e. So they know kind of what's out there, although there's some stuff that was either never in Beckme or wasn't even in AD. Like I said, some things, the Mimic was not in Beckme. But there's some things that have been invented since.
What about the Astral Dreadnought? Greatest Soulspawn and Fairy?
I don't know about that. But for other monsters like more Beckme-ish, what would be one that you'd want to see? You'd like to encounter?
I would love to encounter kobolds.
Kobolds?
Yeah.
Well,
I would like to encounter more kobolds. Something will give me up a level.
Something that will get you up a level. I bet a dragon would do that.
I would really like. I mean, it's just a concept. It was born in 5e, but the Horde Mimic.
The Horde Mimic?
It's a dragon's horde, except it's a mimic.
Ah!
But it's a massive mimic.
A massive mimic. Well,
it's horrible.
I'd have to craft a really, really big pile of treasure for that. I could do it.
And have a mouth on it.
Pretty low level. The XP to level 3. Yeah, it was
10th level.
It was 10th level. The video that we saw was 10th level. One of these days, I'm going to play either a dwarf or a gnome who rides around the countryside on a wagon turned into a mobile siege artillery platform. Oh dear, have I frozen again?
Oh no! Look.
No, there I'm free again. In Bob Johnny's in Fleetwood's Hollow World game, Bob Johnny plays Kubit and rides around on a badger, which is fun. The Star has a lot of unique monsters that have not been added to other settings too. So there are Beckby monsters that are not in newer editions. There are, and the creature catalog, and I again have to thank Jay for that because that was a fabulous addition. The creature catalog, which as I gather, it takes all the monsters that were introduced in modules and puts them in. That's a fabulous book. I don't know if man scorpions are in 5e.
Nope.
No, so that's a Beckby monster that doesn't show up.
Actually,
they're under a different name.
There are ones. There's one that's a bodyguard with the mad mage, Alistair Blackcoat.
Okay.
That's a unique monster with a name.
It's unique, but it's still the monster.
But it's a template. But there's
Now,
now,
rest. They've played D&D for the whole. Are there any other game systems that you would like to introduce them to? Yeah, I know. I see myself frozen, and I'm hoping I unfreeze. Now that Polymar. Let's see. I'm not frozen on his end. Okay, that's good. Are there any RPG systems or non-fantasy settings that kids would like to try out? Are there any other games that I'd like to try them on? You know what? I'd have to learn it, but Gamma World would be fun. That's a fun one. The only other one that I've ever run is Vampire. So I'd have. It might be fun to do a sci-fi one for something totally different. Actually, Simple Sixes, the Old West Simple Sixes, Blazing Sixes that James Keck put together is really quite cool. And I mean, as it said, Fleetwood is doing Simple Sixes set in World War II. I think that might be fun to try out, something like that. Traveler 2E from Mongoose Publishing. Traveler Booty. Although I understand though that Traveler, like the first. That your character can die during character creation.
How? How's that? Matt used to -3 constitution.
Don't run WOD. WOD. I don't know what WOD is. Schamhorst. Gut. Sehr gut. Check the undergardeners dealt with the flooding in the lower fields. Well, have a very good rest of your night. I know it's probably pretty late there. I'm actually getting toward dinner time here. So have a good night, Adam. Let's see.
World of Darkness is what WOD is.
World of Darkness. Don't know it. Oh, it's the wider system that Vampire is part of. Okay. Well, they're not old enough to be emo. You got to wait till they're they're in university and the world is all dark and depressing, and then we can play Vampire because that's primo Vampire time. Traveler characters can only die in Classic Traveler. The OG black box set Mongoose took that aspect out. You mean die during character creation, very specifically. Yeah. So anyway, there's a number of things I'd like to try. I actually would like to, because I've played the Simple Sixes with James Keck, although just once. I played Blazing Sixes. And I was even late to the session. So, and like with Gamma World, I just rolled whatever dice he told me to. But I'd like to learn that. Touchberry, please get out from under there, because if you hit that, then the camera goes all over the place. The Sword of Cephas is the fantasy version of Traveler, which also includes death and character creation. Saskakowski has some good videos about Traveler creation. Cool. Blazing Saddles. Blazing Sixes. Blazing Saddles would be a very different game. They haven't seen Blazing Saddles for perhaps obvious reasons.
But honestly.
Anyway, it is getting now close to 5 o'clock, and I am on dinner duty tonight, so I've got to begin thinking of that. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Gallant Knight Games, D6 system with them as well. But thank you very much for coming, everyone. I want to just quickly run through the announcements. CleriCon, you can register anytime. There is both full con passes and day passes for people who are closer by, just want to come for one day. There are day passes available. Once we're at a month out, I'm going to start including signing up for specific games. That's coming. There's going to be a concession, a consignment. There are going to be concessions at Touchberry's Tuck Shop. Did I run through everything? Fleetwood's Cabinet of Curiosities, Bob Johnny's Onion Eating Contest, and Touchberry's Tuck Shop, so there's food available. I've got to make sure to have Mountain Dew, and Cheetos.
Faux archery contest.
Faux Fire's archery contest is a maybe.
Touchberry bonfire.
Touchberry's bonfire is a maybe. And the 2D system that Bob Johnny wants to run. Paint Minis Lives commission certificate. Hollow World, the Simple Sixes, World War II. Those are happening. So all sorts of great stuff. And for patrons, after the con, we're going to start launching a monthly game session. Back me, obviously. What's that?
Train auction.
The train auction. Yeah, the train for the auctions. That I think everyone already knows, but yes, that's true. This will likely be there because, really, if I do get to England again, Wells Cathedral, yes, I've seen pictures. And also you can see the baby-eating Bishop of Bath and Wells. Blackadder. Thank you, Lo, for tuning in. Have a great evening, Tonka and all. And have a very good rest of your day, everyone. God bless you.